To reflect on the life and times of Athol Fugard, we are now joined by theatre actress Janice Honeyman. Janice, Athol's work is unparalleled and second to none in South Africa. His contribution to theatrical discourse, particularly liberation theatrical discourse in South Africa's apartheid liberation struggle, was incredibly important and will continue to outlive all of us. The world over, Athol is known for impactful work. But as someone who studied his work, as someone that has perhaps had the pleasure of performing his work, what is it that you'll be remembering most about Athol Fugard?
I believe that Athol's most important contribution is that he was a human and deeply, deeply understanding human being and put all of that into his work. His knowledge of human nature and his deep understanding of the psychological makeup of human beings made his work political in a very personal sort of way. And that made everybody understand it much more deeply. It wasn't tub-thumping. It wasn't actually protest in that broad term. It was human theatre that made people think, made people change their minds, made people understand. And that's his value.
You know, growing up, the first play of Athol Fugard that I got to see and perhaps even engage through analytical work in school was Busman and Liena, which was a play about the displacement of colored South Africans by the apartheid regime. And it was my first time really seeing on stage represented the story about displacement in South Africa as a young person at the time watching it. And it's stayed with me ever since then. Some of the issues addressed in it, for instance, as well as the play Sizwe Banzi is Dead, and the relationship between black South Africa and white South Africa, are issues that remain with us today. How can we ensure that we continue to use Fugard's work to help us answer some of the most pressing questions we exist with today?
You know, I believe that we should do as many Fugards as we can, because he speaks so deeply to all of us. And his intrinsic comments on racism and on the divide between black and white is also historical. And all countries need to be doing the background history of our country so that people who are coming up now understand it. We have to understand our background to understand our future. And so I think the more we do Fugard, whether it's the Captain's Tiger, whether it is those previous plays, whether it is the Blood Brothers, Nongogo, all of those are wonderful, wonderful plays for young people to understand where our current situation has come from. So we must just keep doing Fugard.
Yeah. And I guess one of his greatest work, and I think one that will live in the liberation DNA of South Africa for the longest time, is The Island, which was inspired by the life of Nelson Mandela on Robben Island. We're going to have to leave it there. Janice, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Janice Honeyman is a theatre actress. To the Fugard family, our condolences from everybody here at SABC News.